It was 168 years ago today that Frederick Douglass spoke in Rochester, New York, on the subject of the Declaration of Independence. He had a decidedly different take on what it meant, as Kelfasane is about to tell us.
Mr. President, friends, and fellow citizens,
the task before me is one which requires
much previous thought and study for its proper performance.
It's considered one of the greatest speeches in American history.
It is the birthday of your national independence and of your political freedom.
Delivered at an Independence Day event by abolitionist Frederick Douglass.
The distance between this platform and the slave plantation from which I escaped
is considerable.
Today, across Massachusetts, communities come together to read the speech aloud during the July 4th holiday.
Are the great principles of political freedom and of natural justice extended to us?
The tradition started 11 years ago.
What surprised me the most about people's reactions is the sheer delight that many of our residents show when reading the address.
Kedrick Roy, a PhD candidate in American Studies at Harvard University, leads the readings in Somerville, a suburb of Boston.
The conviction with which they read Douglass's words, it's inspiring, it's infectious.
Frederick Douglass escaped slavery in 1838 and fled north, becoming a leader in the fight to abolish slavery entirely.
This 4th of July is yours, not mine.
You may rejoice. I must mourn.
If Independence Day was a time to throw a parade, he would be the rain.
He says, what to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all other days in the year the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is the constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham.
When Douglass points to the injustice and the cruelty to which they were subjected in 1852, I couldn't help but draw an immediate line to our present day. When I turn on the TV, I see people of color still being subjected to injustice and to cruelty.
The Civil War was still nearly a decade away, and slavery remained firmly in place. Douglass wanted to make it clear, this was an emergency.
Do you think that people hearing this speech in the audience in Rochester in 1852 would have been surprised or shocked by any of it?
I think they might have been surprised or shocked by Douglass's boldness, but they would have been awed by his eloquence.
Fellow citizens, I am not wanting in respect for the fathers of this republic. The signers of the Declaration of Independence were brave men.
The speech begins with Douglass being very congenial and chatting with the crowd, getting the crowd interested in what he's about to say.
You boast of your love of liberty.
And then he levies a searing critique of the United States.
While the whole political power of the nation is solemnly pledged
to support and perpetuate the enslavement of 3 million of your countrymen.
Though he does say that the Constitution, for instance, is still a glorious liberty document. And then toward the end, he gives us a sense of hopefulness of America achieving what it could become.
Notwithstanding the dark picture I have to this day presented to the state of the nation,
I do not despair of this country. There are forces in operation which must inevitably work the downfall of slavery.
Frederick Douglass did see the abolition of slavery in 1865.
I therefore leave off where I began, with hope.
And Kedrick Roy says the people of Massachusetts will keep sharing his words and learning from his example.
He seems convinced not only that the country can do better, he seems convinced that the country will do better.
Douglass is very convinced. He believes to his core that this country will do better. He is advocating for change, and he sees progress being made, but he doesn't let up. That's one of the key messages that his speech has for us today. We also can't let up in our desire to agitate to change the country.